Welcome to Haunted Pines, true and bizarre stories including the paranormal, true crime, extraterrestrials, monsters, and more. I'm Nomar Slevik, and tonight's story takes us to upstate New York and inside a cabin that terrified a horror author. This is Whitley and the Black-Eyed Kids. Part 1. Communion. I first read the book Communion when I was around 20 years old. It's the fascinating and reportedly true story of an alien abduction experienced by Whitley Strieber. Before that, Whitley was already known as a horror writer, and a good one. From his IMDb biography, quote, Strieber began his writing career with a pair of modern Gothic horror novels, The Wolfen
Orion Pictures presents Wolfen
and The Hunger.
Sarah Roberts is in jeopardy.
Hey lady, how about it?
Stay with her. Help her. For she has begun to feel the awful horror of the hunger.
For which he earned renown as one of the best of the new wave of horror writers. End quote. But Communion changed everything. It was no longer fiction. It was a confession. Whitley claimed that strange alien visitors had come to his cabin in the woods of upstate New York. And what he described in that book felt real. For me, Communion played like a horror movie inside my mind. There were nights where I couldn't finish a chapter without turning the lights on. I'd dog-ear the page, lay the book down on my chest, and just stare at the ceiling. I would listen for bumps in the night, half convinced that Whitley's abductors were already on their way for me. Eventually, I'd turn on my clock radio, find some static-laced music I could stomach, and let the music drown out the silence. Sleep would eventually come. When I finished the book, I was hooked. I devoured Whitley's other work and even tracked down the Communion movie starring Christopher Walken.
It wasn't a dream.
There's a group that meets.
Group?
People who've seen the same sort of things you have.
Which group of aliens abducted you?
Bob, we are not victims. We are participants.
I don't recall them being human. You people, you sit there, you're in for one big surprise.
While the effects are dated, the dread was still there. That same dread that lived in that lonely cabin in the woods. I highly recommend the book and the movie. Part 2. The Knock at the Door. Years later, while hunting for paranormal podcasts, I found out Whitley had one of his own. It's called Dreamland.
This is Whitley Strieber, and this is Dreamland. You've reached the edge of the world.
And again, I was hooked. On May 2nd, 2012, his guest was author David Weatherly. I've read a number of his books, and in this particular interview, he was promoting a book he had written titled Black-Eyed Children. It's a chilling exploration of one of the strangest modern phenomena within the paranormal. If you're unfamiliar, here's the book's synopsis. Quote, strange children are appearing around the world, attired in old-fashioned clothing. their skin pale, their mannerisms awkward. Their most startling trait, however, is their solid black eyes. They knock on doors and rap on windows, and their voices monotone and demanding. And they have one simple request. They want to come in. End quote. One of the first modern stories about black-eyed children, the one that really put them on the paranormal map, happened to a Texas journalist named Brian Bethel. If you're no stranger to some of my books and to my previous podcast, I Want to Believe, I have told the story of Brian Bethel and the Black-Eyed Kids before. I will briefly summarize it here. It was the summer of 1996. Bethel had just finished work and stopped by to pay a bill at an internet company after hours. He sat in his car writing a check when someone knocked on his window. He looked up and there were two boys, teenagers, and they stood beside his driver's side window. Both wore hoodies, their faces pale in the moonlight. The taller of the two boys said, quote, "Could you give us a ride to our mother's house? We need to get some money to see a movie," end quote. Bethel glanced past them and looked at the marquee of the theater across the street. It was showing Mortal Kombat. And the film had started over a half hour earlier. When he turned back to them, an irrational fear came over him. The boy said, quote, "It won't take long. We're just two kids. We don't have a gun or anything," end quote. A strange thing to say for sure. But at this point, Bethel felt an overwhelming urge to open his door, as if being pulled into a trance or a Jedi mind trick, if you will. But when he looked away, the spell broke. He finally saw their eyes. They were completely black. He described them as, quote, "soulless orbs, like two giant swaths of starless night," end quote. He slammed his car into gear and sped off. When he checked his rearview mirror, they were gone. Since that night, reports of black-eyed children have flooded in from around the world. People who've let them in claim to have fallen mysteriously ill. Some had bad luck that lingered for years. Worse yet, others had fatal consequences. But the following happened to Whitley. Part 3. Whitley's Cabin. After Weatherly told the story of Brian Bethel, Whitley told him that he had an encounter of his own. In 1991, strange things began happening at his cabin. The same cabin where the abductions took place. He described odd drilling sounds beneath the floorboards. And when he would go and investigate, there was nothing there. Then came the bleeding. His neighbor, visiting one evening, suddenly began bleeding from the forehead without any visual cause. Days later, his son's friend suffered a violent nosebleed while inside the cabin. And then, one afternoon, Whitley's son was playing on the front porch when he saw something in the yard. It was a pale boy on a bicycle. Terrified, he called out to Whitley. He rushed outside and he said of the incident, quote, "He was about 10 or 12 years old, extremely pale. His eyes were completely black. I thought maybe it was a prank, but when I approached, the boy glared at me and pedaled away," end quote. The encounter left Whitley and his son shaken. For days afterward, he felt an oppressive sense of dread. And it felt like something had attached itself to the house. Weatherly explained that this feeling of impending doom was common in nearly every black-eyed child encounter that he had investigated. But Whitley wasn't finished. He had another encounter 4 years later in 1995. This was just 1 year before Bethel's incident. He had taken a day nap when he heard voices, people talking inside the cabin. He thought he was dreaming until he heard one of them say, quote, "Let's take him," end quote. At that, Whitley jumped from the bed and threw open the door. Standing just outside were two figures, one tall, one child-sized. Whitley said, quote, "They were dressed in all black. The smaller one had those same eyes. Black, all black," end quote. When he stepped toward them, they ran, running to a black Mustang parked at the end of the driveway. They jumped in and sped away. And just like that, they were gone. Part 4. What are they? During the interview, Whitley and Weatherly discussed what these beings might be. Are they extraterrestrial? Ghosts? Something worse? They theorized that they may not be children at all. Perhaps they are beings from another dimension, who present themselves as children, knowing we may be more inclined to invite them in. And most reports share that theme, the knocking, the request to be invited. They never force their way in. They wait. They're patient. And they also try to persuade you. Weatherly said, quote, "For some reason, they need an invitation," end quote. And Bethel, he had his own theory as well. He said of the little entities, quote, "I think they're a predator species, and we're the food," end quote. Well, it doesn't get much darker than that. What are your thoughts? Do you believe in the black-eyed kids? Have you seen one for yourself? Feel free to reach out and let us know. At Haunted Pines Pod on Instagram, or email us at hauntedpinespod@gmail.com. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, please share the Haunted Pines podcast with someone who loves true tales and the unexplained. You can find other strange stories in my books, Humanoid Encounters, Granite Skies, UFOs Over Maine, and my latest work, In the Pines. Check the show notes for links. Until next time, always be aware of your surroundings, for the night belongs to the ghosts. I'm Nomar Slevik, and this is Haunted Pines.